Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Monday, May 1st, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comments section below. Atlanta Braves vs New York Mets. The Braves have won 4 of their last 5 games, including a 4-0 shutout win over the Mets on Friday. First baseman Matt Olson went deep in a 4-run 5th inning for the Braves, and starter Max Fried pitched 5 scoreless innings for the complete game rain-shortened shutout. Fried gave up 3 hits, all singles, and struck out 7 to pick up his second win of the season. Ronald Acuna Jr. singled home a run and scored on Olson's blast. After the 5th inning, the tarp was put on the field and the game was called 88 minutes later. The Mets have lost 5 of their previous 6 games, including a 4-0 defeat at the hands of the Braves at home on Friday evening. The game was called after 5 innings due to the rain. Starter David Peterson took the loss by going 5 innings and allowing 4 earned runs on 5 hits and struck out 6 Atlanta batters. He gave up a 3-run home run to first baseman Matt Olson in the last inning of the rain-shortened contest. New York was limited to 3 singles by Atlanta's starting pitcher Max Fried. The Braves beat the Mets 10 times in 19 games played last season, and they were 3-5 against them at Citi Field. In addition, the Braves are 5-0 in games started by Strider this season. The Mets have lost 5 of their last 6 games against the spread overall and 3 of 4 at Citi Field. Conversely, the Braves have won 4 of their last 5 games Austrian shillings and 4 of 5 on the road. Atlanta's offense is performing better in most categories away from their home stadium this season, including batting average .263 and slugging percentage .466. The Mets are struggling with the bats at home, hitting .231 there, which is 14 points less than on the road. The Braves have won 5 straight against the Mets dating back to last season, and the Braves staff has limited New York to 3 runs or less during that stretch. The trends and stats support an Atlanta victory on Monday with Morton on the mound. Take Atlanta with the money line. The Mets have been shut out twice at home in the past week, including a rain-shortened 4-0 defeat to the Braves on Friday. They have pushed or gone under the point total in 4 of their last 5 games overall and 3 of 4 at home. The Mets rank near the bottom of the league in home runs per game at their home stadium, 20th, .80. New York is averaging only 3.81 runs per game at Citi Field versus 4.94 on the road, and their pitching staff lets up almost a full run less at home than away. Atlanta's pitchers have been lights out on the road, compiling a league-leading 2.03 ERA. The Braves have gone under the point total in 4 of their past 5 road games, and either Atlanta or their opponent has scored 4 runs or fewer in each of their past 13 games. Strider has been dominant on the road, pitching 12 scoreless innings over 2 starts. Take the under. Atlanta Braves vs New York Mets. The Braves have won 5 straight and 7 of the last 8 in this series. On Friday, Max Fried recorded his 3rd straight scoreless outing in 5 innings in the 4-0 win for Atlanta, as rain shortened the game to 5 frames. Matt Olson led the way with a 3-run home run for the Braves, who probably wouldn't have needed many more runs for Fried in a full game, who now has an ERA of 0.45. The good news for the Mets is that they are 3 games above .500, despite missing key players like pitchers Carlos Carrasco, elbow, Justin Verlander, shoulder, closer Edwin Diaz, knee, out for the season, and Max Scherzer, 10-day suspension. New York has played well despite the issues with their pitching staff until late April, when they lost 5 of their last 6 games. In Friday's rain-shortened game, the offense was missing as they produced just 3 hits, led by Brett Baty, who went 1 for 2. In the early going, Pete Alonso leads the mediocre batting order with 10 homers, 25 RBIs with just doubles, with a .562 slugging percentage, .257 BA. The pitching staff has struggled with the injuries as expected. They own a 4.36 ERA, 16th, a 1.36 WHIP, 21st, and own just 4 quality starts, 28th. Offensively, they rank 20th in batting average, .240, and 16th in ops, .715. The Mets are due to win 1 at home against the Braves. Megill is the pitcher to get the job done as he's 2-1 against the Mets with a 4.30 ERA in 5 career games against the Braves. He's allowed just 4 runs over his last 3 starts against Atlanta. Morton had issues with the Mets last season, allowing 3 home runs and 7 runs with 13 hits in 9 innings. Our team pick is Mets money line. It's impossible to tell on Sunday how the lineups will look in the second game of a doubleheader, but of course, a lot of key players tend to sit, all catchers, because well, it's a long season. Playing 18 innings or more in one day can be simply draining. The Mets have gone under in 3 of their last 4 games. They've scored 1 or fewer runs in 3 of those 4 games. Our total pick is under the total. Chicago Cubs vs Washington Nationals. Dropping 3 in Miami, the Cubs suffered their first series sweep of the season and have gone 3-7 over their last 10 games to inch closer to .500. They'll see that Marlins club back home at the end of the week, so this could be a good chance to grab some wins over a down and out side. Through their first 27 games, the Cubs pitching staff has a team ERA of 3.64, 4th best in the National League. Over their last 2 series, a span of 6 games, they have allowed 21 total runs. Monday night starter Smiley has been excellent since struggling in his debut start. Over his last 4 starts, the southpaw has allowed just 4 earned runs, 11 hits, and 4 walks, while striking out 24 batters in 23.1 innings. Lifetime, Smiley is 1-0 with a 3.38 ERA in 8 appearances, 6 starts, versus the Nats. The Nationals dropped a Saturday doubleheader to the Pirates following a Friday washout, but after a lengthy delay in getting Sunday's final going, they were able to pounce 4-7 runs over the first 3 innings. Through their first 27 games, the Washington offense was mid-tier, sitting 14th in baseball, with a team batting average of .251. They have hit only 15 home runs, the fewest of any team, and their 104 runs were the 4th fewest. After hitting .314 over the first 9 games of the season, Dominic Smith hit just .182 over his next 14 games. He only collected 1 RBI in that stretch, but did finally connect for his first home run of the season in the second game of Saturday's doubleheader. Chicago won the season series a year ago, 4-2, with 3 of the 4 wins coming by 2 or more runs. However, this is a prime opportunity for the Nats to pick one off from a strong team. Gore looked exceptional in his last start, and the Chicago bats were cooled down considerably in Miami. Washington enjoyed a nice win at home on Sunday and will get to chill while the Cubs travel to them. The Nats are going to also be more prepared for the overcast early spring chill of the Northeast, where game time temps will be in the 50s. It's a long 4-game series, but I feel this is the best chance for the Nationals to steal one based on the momentum behind all of the moving parts. I expect this to be a close game, but Washington's offense will get just enough runs to back Gore's outing. Take the Nationals on the money line. Last season these 2 teams pushed 4 of their 6 meetings over the assigned total. Both lineups have made some big adjustments, and while Chicago's looked strong early, they've since come back to earth a bit. The over was 7-5 in Chicago's first 12 games, but has since gone 6-9. The under has prevailed in 5 of their last 6 games, indicating an offensive downturn. It will be their first game in Washington, and temps will be in the mid-50s at first pitch, so it may take a game or 2 to get the bats going again, especially after traveling the day prior. Over their last 8 road games, the Cubs have scored 4 or less runs on 5 occasions. Their bats are hot or cold on the road, and after their run in Miami, they seem the latter. The Nationals Cubs offense got a really nice outburst on Sunday, but it was sustained over a few innings. Otherwise, they don't strike me as a reliable offense for runs, having been shut out 4 times already and having scored just 1 run in 3 other games. The under is 4-0 in the Cubs' last 4 games, where the total was set at 7 to 8.5 and 3-0 in the Nationals' last 5 Monday games, per Covers.com. Take the under 8.5 runs. Cleveland Guardians vs New York Yankees. The Guardians come into this game with a run differential of -11, which is 20th in the league. What has hindered the Guardians in the win column this season has been their inability to consistently put runs on the board. Cleveland sits bottom 10 in runs per game despite hovering around the top 10 in plate appearances. Of course there are reasons for the low run rate, and that is partially due to their poor batting average, but it's also been attributed to their inability to drive runs home, as they are among the worst in the league at stranding runners in scoring position. That said, Cleveland has been disciplined at the plate, even if their contact hasn't yielded much in the early going. The Guardians sit second in strikeout rate and are 6th in walk rate, indicating that the fruits of their labor will eventually bring their run total to a more competitive level. Lastly, the Guardians are among the worst in the MLB in terms of home runs, and their inability to hit the ball out of the yard has resulted in runners stranded and points left off the board. Cleveland will need to take a more aggressive posture at the plate here. New York comes into this contest with a run differential of +15, which is good for 11th in the league. While the home runs have continued to be a large part of the Yankees' mode of scoring, they still sit bottom 10 in runs scored on a per-game basis, and their aggressive plate posture has landed them in the bottom third of the league in batting average as well. This inconsistent plate presence has dropped the Bronx Bombers to bottom of the MLB in plate appearances per game, despite hanging around league average in strikeout rate. Power hasn't seemed to be the problem, and we know the Yankees can rack up the homers, at home especially. However, aside from their firework hits, New York has struggled attaining extra bases, and the fact that they often don't sit in the box long enough to get a base on balls is a bit concerning if the homers aren't there. New York is coming off a 7-game road trip and will be ready to perform in front of their home crowd after a somewhat mediocre road showing. German has been dealt some unfortunate luck with so many of his hits given resulting in runs. Cleveland hasn't shown their consistent power at the plate and are among the league worst in home run rate. German will keep their hits in the yard and rack up the Ks while he's at it. Take the Yankees at home. Quantrill was a great pitcher to back last season, and with him coming off a rather poor showing by his standards, he'll be locked in to bounce back in front of New York. We've touched on German's ability to strike batters out as well. When New York isn't hitting homers, they've struggled to produce constant run pressure. Likewise, the Guardians haven't been keen on driving the ball out of the park, and they pose a risk of leaving several runners stranded, as has been their case all season long. The play is the under, which is 8-2 the last 10 meetings in New York. Our total pick is under 8.5 runs.